Module 2 of the Iowa Task Force 1 video training series, you'll learn about common search strategies, tactics, and techniques used in search and rescue, or SAR, operations. We'll discuss the importance of search area containment and prioritizing search segments, how thorough investigation is vital to clue awareness and relevancy, how hasty searches often yield fast results, and we'll describe the different methods for grid searches. A lost individual on foot can travel up to 2 miles every hour. That's why one of the most important search strategies is minimizing and containing the search area as quickly as possible. Your immediate goal is to erect a virtual fence or perimeter around possible locations of your search subject and divide the area into search segments. It prevents the lost subject from leaving the established area and helps you focus your search efforts more effectively. You'll use both direct and indirect tactics to establish the perimeter, which we'll cover later in this module.
Until you get a full containment of an area, sending resources out is then just a guessing game. Once we get borders around an incident, then we can fully utilize the resources that we have at that time and then call for additional resources if we need them.
You should also review and consider lost person behavior to develop this perimeter. There are many excellent guides to lost person behavior, and we encourage you to review these principles so you are prepared when the time comes.
We use a book called Lost Person Behavior written by Dr. Kester. That book is almost spot on.
An important element of containment is establishing the direction of travel. For most search operations, investigation is your best strategy for establishing direction of travel or probability of direction. One of the tools to help you gather investigative facts is the Lost Person Questionnaire. We'll review this document in more detail in Module 3 of the Iowa Task Force 1 training series. You should investigate the point last seen, also referred to as PLS. The point last seen is the location where someone actually witnessed seeing the lost subject.
So there has been eyes on this individual at that known point.
You should investigate the last known point, or LKP. The last known point can be the location where a subject was reported to be going or where evidence suggests that the person was last present. This evidence could be physical clues, such as pieces of clothing, or an electronic trail, such as store records indicating a credit card was used. Human trackers who are skilled at looking for clues and establishing direction and movement can be very helpful during this phase of the search. You'll learn more about next-level resources like this in Module 4 of the Iowa Task Force 1 training series. Once you've contained a larger area and established a direction of travel, you can begin binary searches. Binary searching simply means dividing established search segments into smaller, more manageable areas and identifying them using landmarks and other identifiable features such as roads, streams, and fence lines. This allows searchers in the field to know and recognize the boundaries of each segment. Binary searching allows you to prioritize segments. For example, you might prioritize a search area downhill from a point last seen because the grade makes it naturally easier for a lost subject to move in that direction. You can determine more easily where the subject is not located or where the subject has not been. It also allows Incident Command to efficiently utilize time and resources that are available. The search techniques used in any search and rescue mission are consistent. They include scanning, observing, and clue awareness. Scanning is the physical aspect of the search, using your senses to search for lost subjects. You engage sight, hearing, smell, and touch with this technique. Observing is the mental aspect of search, trying to think like the lost person, putting yourself in their shoes. It involves accepting and cataloging information gained through scanning and using those items to develop plausible scenarios for where the subject may be located or moving. Clue awareness is the sharing of information gathered during the investigation that will prepare search teams to look for relevant clues and to be effective observers.
If looking for an adult, we wouldn't be looking for a size 2 shoe or something that would not pertain to that victim. So clue awareness is vital.
Clue awareness is having the details you need to be able to identify a relevant clue when you see it. Knowing the age of the lost subject, what kind of shoes and types of clothing he or she is wearing, whether the subject is carrying other specific items. These are all details that are pulled from the comprehensive Lost Person Questionnaire and consolidated into a Lost Person Profile. This profile provides a quick way to share key facts with search teams. A wide variety of search tactics are used to find lost subjects or clues. These efforts can be categorized as either indirect or direct tactics. Indirect tactics are the first to be employed and often result in a successful outcome with no additional expenditure of resources. In a fire call, the first 5 minutes of the response often determine how the rest of the incident will go. A search and rescue operation has the same urgency for doing the right things at the beginning for a better result in the end. Fact-finding or investigation phase goes on at the same time you are containing and putting a fence around the incident. Fact-finding begins by interviewing family members or witnesses who last saw the subject. This information is used to complete the Lost Person Questionnaire, which includes the PLS and LKP. The main goal of fact-finding is to follow leads until there are no more leads to follow. It is the most critical aspect of every search. If the lost person is mobile or responsive, you can use attraction tactics to cause the subject to come to you or to identify their hidden location.
If you can hear my voice, start heading this direction.
Noise gets attention. Use the tools that are readily at your disposal: sirens, whistles, yelling, PA systems, or horns to get the attention of lost or trapped subjects. Lights are also effective tools, especially for nighttime searches. Use patrol lights, beacons, flares, and searchlights to attract lost subjects and to aid your SAR mission. Containment means anticipating the subject's maximum travel distance and confining their movement to minimize the size of the search area. Indirect tactics you can use to contain a search area include setting lookouts at key positions such as trailheads, trail junctions, roadblocks, and field access points, any area where a subject on the move may cross. You can also establish perimeter patrols to maintain this containment area. Track traps are used to check for movement at intervals within the search time frame. Raking dirt along trails or checking undisturbed snow and sand are ideal ways to note fresh tracks of lost subjects on the move. Be sure to identify and mark track trap areas so search personnel can avoid them. Many search and rescue operations require direct tactics, putting boots on the ground, doing direct searches in probable areas. Remember, these areas should be segmented and prioritized for most effective searching. A hasty search, which is often employed while indirect tactics continue, is the first direct tactic you should use in any search scenario. It involves clue-conscious searching in high-probability areas by small teams of 2 to 4 searchers.
Hasty searches are very effective in the early stages of a SAR incident. Looking at paths, trails, many SAR incidents are resolved with a good, quick, hasty search.
It is a fast initial response that is about speed rather than level of coverage. Hasty searches should cover likely places of detection and often follow predefined routes such as roads, trails, and rivers. A hasty search not only puts family members at ease that something is being done, it helps further define the search area by gathering intelligence to support the investigation. It can also help determine where not to search further.
Those hasty guys got to be on their game because when they're heading out the door, they've got to have their head on a swivel. They got to move far. They got to move quick. They got to get out there.
Effective hasty search teams have training and experience to recognize clues. They are able to move quickly using mobile and flexible modes of transportation, such as on foot, horseback, bicycles, all-terrain vehicles, boats, or aircraft. Grid searches are more thorough direct tactics looking for lost subjects or clues.
You've got to have ground teams out there that have got all the clues, they've got all their stuff, and they've got to be very thorough and really take their time and go through the woods.
Let's review terms and definitions used in grid searches. A guideline or baseline runs perpendicular to the direction of travel. This line controls the direction and speed of the grid search. The guide person leads the search line. These leaders are usually located at the end or center of the line. The search lane is the area an individual is assigned to scan. Critical spacing is the distance that a searcher can identify a certain sized clue in existing environmental conditions. If you're looking for some type of clue, a water bottle for instance, place it in the grass and then move away until you can no longer see it. Repeat that in several directions, then calculate an average distance. That's how far you should space your searchers. so the thicker or taller the vegetation, the closer you'll need to set your critical spacing. This same approach can be used whether you're searching for clues or missing subjects. Loose grid searches are the next step after a hasty search is completed. They cover larger geographic areas and usually involve 3 to 7 searchers. They are organized on a guideline, and spacing is determined by terrain, vegetation, and visibility. Searchers maintain occasional visual and voice contact. Loose grid searches are flexible and don't require as much coordination as tight grid searches. Tight grid searches are slow and systematic. They usually involve 5 to 10 searchers at a time and are often performed to search for small clues. The critical spacing is relatively close, often no more than an arm's width between searchers. Tight grid searches use straight and parallel tracks and require greater searcher coordination. Trail tape, ribbons, and string are often used for control.
Getting that spacing in between rescuers is vital to finding clues or finding that individual.
Thank you for reviewing the strategies, techniques, and tactics used in search and rescue operations. It's important that we keep our skills sharp so we are ready to go at a moment's notice the next time we are called for a search and rescue mission. Let's move on to Module 3 in our training series, which covers search and rescue management. Remember, more tools and resources are always available on our website at iowataskforce1.org.